Good morning. This is Hassana, and there's something that I want to talk about this morning. So let's get into it. Now, I understand that the church may be under attack because I believe that a lot of people aren't really going to church like we used to when we were growing up, because we started really finding out who we were as people, and we started doing our own research, and we started reading and just really learning about ourselves. And in doing that, that has made us feel more confident in our spiritual talk, our spiritual tone, our spiritual walk. And we feel that we don't need sort, if you will, a pastor to really speak directly to us, because what we need we can get from ourselves. Now, let me say this. In me saying that, is not saying that God is totally out of the picture, because we do understand that there is a divine here. We do understand that there is a creator. We get that. I just wanted to give you a little bit of that background, but let me just say this. The reason why I'm bringing this forward is because there was a pastor that was speaking, and he was saying, that you don't really need to pray to your ancestors. So that kind of made me feel some kind of way, because I don't even think it's even about praying to your ancestors, but to tell people not to acknowledge who their ancestors are, or acknowledge who they were when they were here, I think is totally wrong. I am a firm believer that you need to know where you came from in order to figure out where you're going. And to tell people, for this pastor to tell people, don't think about your ancestors because you need to just focus on Jesus. Well, I have something to say about that. And what I'm going to say to that is, number one, for those of us or those who choose to believe in Jesus, that's fine. I have no problem with it, because whatever your spiritual tone is, or whatever your spiritual, view is, that's you. I don't get offended. I remember growing up, and I used to get offended when people didn't want to talk about Jesus. It was like, I would get into debates. I would do all of that. I ain't doing that no more, because whatever your preference is, that's you. That's your life. You have to walk your own journey out. That's not my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? My responsibility to me is, I owe myself is my spiritual tone and my spiritual walk, and what I decide to do with it. That's my business. Okay? So I'm not going to get into no debate with anybody about who they choose to believe in, why they choose to believe in it. That's not an argument. That's a conversation. It's not an argument. Okay? Now, back to what I was saying. In my opinion, when it comes to ancestors, because I think that a lot of times we get things twisted. When it comes to ancestors, you need to know where you came from. You need to know who they are, because you need to know what you're dealing with in your own bloodline. The pattern of your life, it tells a story. So to tell me not to want to know about my ancestors, or want to know where I came from, or not to speak to them, is wrong. Now, let me say this. I worked in hospice for 6+ years. I sat with all kinds of people, all different races of people. And I'm going to be honest with you. Being in those rooms with those people, dealing with them, about to leave here and go move on. Not one of them that I remember before they left here said the word Jesus. Not one that I remember. I only can go by what I know. But what I will say is they talked about someone that was not here anymore. Their mother, their father, their aunt, their sister, their brother. You ask yourself the question, why is that? I remember when my 93-year-old grandmother was about to leave from this plane. She believed in God. She believed in Jesus. But I remember calling her, the last call that I had with her being in her right mind. The first thing she said to me was, "Oh, I just want you to know, Hassan, I'm going to see my mother next week." But when she said it, I knew exactly what it meant. And sure enough, next week, she went to go see her mom because her mom was deceased. So you ask yourself the question, because I'm not here to debate. I'm just here to give you some more information or counter what this pastor said about ancestral, why it's a problem, which is so ignorant to me. Because we came from somewhere. We came from our ancestors. How could you say something like that? That just sounds so dumb to me. No, it's because people are recognizing who they are. They're walking in their truth. So a lot of people are not walking in the church buildings like they used to. Now, let me say this. And forgive me if I feel like I'm all around the place, but when these points come to me, I gotta get them out, because if I don't, I'm afraid that I won't get back to it. So let me just say this. When you grieve and you think about your loved one and you're talking to your loved one, ask yourself what is that? And ask yourself that question. Because I'm going to tell you something. I think about my brother all the time. Do I have conversations with my brother? I do. And he's considered now ancestor because he's there. Do I not ask my ancestors to look and watch out for me? I do. Do you? Ask yourself the question. Sometimes we just got to sit and think about what people are saying to us. And I know that coming up in the church heavily, 24/7, I knew I was in church all the time. Sundays, 3 services. During the week, especially when they have revivals, didn't matter if you had school or not, you in there. Did I benefit from some of those things? Yes, I did. I'm not going to tell you that I didn't. So when people say, well, what about all those times you was in church and you were shouting and you were, and the pastor was talking and giving you life when it came to Jesus? Yeah, I remember those times. I remember them all. Look, and wouldn't regret it. I don't regret any of it because it was my foundation to where I'm at now. So I'm okay with that. To say that in life, and one thing that I will say about that, to say that in life, that's all I had to move forward in life, I'm not going to say that, because you have to evolve. You got to keep learning about yourself. You have to keep learning about what the church really means. You have to keep learning about what the pastor was really saying. You're constantly evolving. Am I still that young girl that was in church shouting 7 days a week? No. Number one, I ain't got time for it because I'm doing other things. I'm constantly evolving. I'm constantly reading, and learning and understanding who I am. I was telling you right now, the best thing that I did in life was start to evolve in a way where I get to say what I want to do. I get to understand who I am and why I do the things that I do. Now, some of you may be a little confused about this conversation. And that's cool too. I'm just here for a conversation. I'm never approached or never above learning myself. This is why I do these things, to get feedback, to get you to understand, who I am and where I'm at and what I'm trying to do. And maybe there's some other people out there like me. I don't know. But to tell me that my ancestors are not important, and I shouldn't pray to them and I shouldn't talk to them, I think that's a little bit over the top. Because I need my ancestors to communicate with me, to help me to understand some things. See, right now they where they need to be, and I need to understand it. I want to understand where I'm supposed to go from here. One thing that woke me up is when I watched the Black Panthers, the original one, and how all the ancestors was around the tree, and they gave him wisdom. They gave the Black Panther wisdom on what to do and go back and fight and all that, stuff like that. I don't know, something just clicked to me. It was like, wow, is this how we get? See, the thing about it is, none of us know what it really is, okay? When we close our eyes, none of us really know. But if it was like that, if it is like that, to me it's beautiful. You know why? I would love to be around my ancestors that are continuing to fight over me, and to be able to be around them and say, wow, you look like me, or I just think it's just beautiful. I think it would just be an awesome moment, a beautiful moment. It's really hard for me not to see Jesus as a white man, because that's the only view and vision that I had of him growing up, to be honest. And as much as we try to tell ourselves, we think Jesus is black, it's really kind of hard, because you already have that visual of him as this white man, even though I understand the Bible talks about his hair and skin tone, skin color. And not that I can't see him as a black man, because I probably could, but it's been embedded in me so deeply when I see the white picture. So it's really kind of hard for me not to see him as a white man, if you understand what I'm saying. And I'm not here to debate whether he's black or white. That doesn't matter to me. That doesn't matter to me. And one of the reasons why is because I'm so confident in my blackness at this point. To me, my God is black, because I'm black. So that doesn't bother me. But anyway, get back where I was. I just want to say that, to sum this up, your ancestors are very important to your journey here on earth. Don't dismiss them. They're very important. Believe it or not, they help us. I believe that. I hope you do too. But if you don't, that's fine. I'm not here to argue or debate. I'm just telling you my stance on it. God bless. Feel free to put your comments down below, because I would love to hear them. And then also too, don't forget to check out my YouTube channel at Sojourning 1296. You guys have a great day.